Hey, everybody. My name is Frank Panunto, and I'm one of the senior regional directors here at EXP. And I am senior director for the U.S. East. Many of you see my counterpart, the amazing Russ Lagan, who's always in the vest and the tie, who is also a senior regional director for the U.S. West. So, coming to you today to talk live. It's good to be back, kind of in the studio. I'm in my home today, surrounded by my inspiration, which are my four daughters and kind of my surroundings. So today we're going to talk about EXP Explained, and what exactly is this platform, and how do you explain it in terms that people understand. So we're going to kind of go through everything A to Z, kind of at a macro level, kind of looking down on it to give you some general ideas about it. But you can certainly always email me or send us questions. You can go to the EXP Growth website, or you could just email me directly at frank.panunto@exprealty.net. So you see my name on the screen right there, and feel free to send me any questions that you may have, and I will certainly get back to you and answer your questions. So who are we, and what is EXP Realty? So I think you need to go back to the very beginning, and we talk about our founder, and you talk about Glenn Sanford. And Glenn was a very successful real estate agent. And I guess back in around 2009, I guess he had this concept where it's like, yeah, how do I create this company and create an environment that everybody can profit from, that everybody can achieve some type of financial freedom for that. So I think his thought was to create the most agent-centric company in the industry. And in my opinion, I've been doing this for 30 years. He figured it out. He's got the right formula. So as we go through this over the next 20, 25 minutes, all this, I think, will come to surface, and you'll understand exactly how he put that plan into place and then executed the plan, which is really, really cool. So let's talk about just our core values. Like, if you want to know about who we are and to get that sense of exactly what his thought was, just look at the words that we use in our core values. So we use words like service, sustainability, collaboration, transparency. We're a publicly traded company. So we're traded on NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So everything's completely transparent, which is one of the best things about us, really, because when you talk about a traditional brokerage or maybe a franchise type brokerage, the numbers get moved around. Sometimes it's a shell game, and you don't really know what's going on. You'll hear about what they want you to hear about, but the transparency part really isn't there. But when you're publicly traded, certainly transparency is a big deal. We also use words like integrity and innovation and community, and then most important, fun. Like I said, I've been 30 years in the business. I've been with the company over a year now, and I can tell you I wake up every day now. I don't know that I've ever had this much fun before. So, and a lot of that is due to the quality of the people that I deal with on a daily basis. It is the best. Some of the biggest and best minds in real estate that we talk to every single day and that we're surrounded by every single day. It's really an amazing experience for us and for me personally. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there that, hey, you guys are virtual. I mean, I like this brick and mortar thing. I like going into an office and seeing agents. When you really look at it, how many agents are actually in the office on a daily basis? I mean, I managed offices for over 15 years. And I can tell you that if I ever had more than 8 to 10 people in an office on a given day, that was a really busy day. But like today's Friday, you go in there on a Friday, Labor Day weekend, I guarantee it's pretty much a ghost town in there. So having the virtual office thing, it's actually been great. And for me, I get to talk to more people on a daily basis now virtually than I ever did when I was in around brick and mortar. So let's talk about that for a second. What does that mean to be virtual and to mean brick and mortar? So, because that's also another misconception. So what that means is we have a virtual corporate office, if you will. So we have this thing called the EXP world that everybody can log into. And through that world, that's kind of where all the leadership is located, but it's also where all your help and support comes in, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But having that and having access to that from anywhere you are in the world, in the real world, to have access to our world and to have access to the people that you need to get you the answers or to address any issues that you're having, to have that access is unbelievable. Think about what it does for your efficiency. Think about what it does for your production. So one big thing about that is, again, having the accessibility to people. The other part of that is we do have Regis accounts. So every agent that joins EXP gets a free Regis account. Regis is all over the world. So there are offices there that you can go in and use if you need something to meet clients or you need a public space to have some type of consultation, whatever you're doing, writing contracts, whatever you need to do. So everybody does have a Regis account. So that kind of dispels that part of it. But why else are we virtual? What does that mean by why? What's the advantage of not having brick and mortar? Well, that's a big deal. We're really going to address that in detail as we go farther on. But a lot of it comes back to the amount of money that comes into the company because you don't have that. And when you don't have all that overhead and you don't have the brick and mortar and all that stuff, where does that money go? We're going to talk about that because that's one of the most exciting parts of this company. So let's talk about support. All right. So now that since you guys don't have brick and mortar, and by the way, there are agents out there that do have their own offices. There's nothing in the rule book that says you can't open your own space. You're certainly welcome to do that. You can have partners. You can sublease some of the space, share space, which is common right now. So you can certainly do that. I think it's important to understand that for people who have been in the business for a long time, you've built a brand about yourself. You kind of know who you are. You have your own logo. We don't ask you to change any of that. You've built that. I mean, that's who you are. All we're trying to get you to do, and if you could change your mindset, is you're still going to run your business and your own brokerage, if you will. You're just going to use our platform to do it. So it's really nice to be able to have that flexibility and understand that I don't have to change who I am in order to come over to this platform and have the opportunities of everything that EXP has to offer. So pretty important thing. Let's get back to the support part. So because we have that virtual world, again, you're going to have access to everything you need. Whether it comes down to onboarding or there's an accounting issue that you're having or you're having a tech issue. I mean, I'm one of the least tech savvy people you ever meet. So I'm in there quite often. But to be able to go in to this virtual world and to speak to somebody, you're speaking to a human being, by the way. People are not virtual. So you're going to have somebody on the other end that's going to say, hey, Frank, so what's going on? Hey, John, I'm having an issue. I can't log into this account. I'm having a problem with my laptop. And then they're going to say, hey, well, let me remote in and let's go from there. So to have access to these people instantaneously is huge. I mean, think about if you're a traditional brokerage. What happens if that person that handles all that stuff for you is unavailable? What happens if they're out? Sometimes the office managers, and I know because I was one of them, I was putting out a fire, or I had to go help somebody in a training, or I was on a recruiting appointment, or whatever it may be. Now I'm out of the office for 2 or 3 hours, and people have issues that they can't get addressed because I'm not there. What does that do to your day? How much does that jam you up, right? So having access to all these people, and we have well over 300, 400 employees that are working in that world at any given time that you're going to have access to. So the support is off the charts. Along with that, you talk about the brokers. So even though we're a virtual company, every state has state brokers, real people. And those brokers, depending on the size of the state, will dictate how many people are brokers are needed for that state. They have weekly meetings. So that your whole state can get together in a virtual room, and the state broker is going over everything. If there's any changes to your contracts, to the law, the CE, whatever's going on in your specific state, you're going to have access to that broker. The other cool thing about the brokers that's their only job. They have one job. They wear one hat. They are there to support you, to make sure the deals are all in compliance, to if you're having an issue, that they can help you address that issue. They're not getting bogged down by anything else. That's their number one focus. So you can go into that virtual world, go into your state broker room, and you're going to have a broker that's on call just like that. So your accessibility to your state brokers is unmatched. Which is really also going to help you with the efficiency part of it that we were talking about before. Other things for support. You got SkySlope, which is your transaction management system. So you're going to have access to that 24/7. You have you're working on a deal and it comes in, you're going to go into SkySlope, put all your information in there, and your commission, your forms, everything's being in there. So you have a transaction management program. You're going to have the marketing platform. So anything you need in marketing, thousands of marketing pieces for you, whether it's buyers, sellers, listing presentations, buyer presentations, whatever you need. letterhead, but whatever it's going to be. You have all this available to you 24/7, which is awesome. Also on the support side, we have what's called Workplace. Everybody knows what Facebook is. Facebook developed another program called Workplace for Us. It's our intranet system, if you will. This is how we talk to each other. So everybody's on there. All the agents have a Workplace account. They're in there. All the leadership is on there, the brokers. So that's also a really good way. I happen to be part of leadership. So I'm on Workplace 24/7. If somebody needs something, it goes right to my account. I see it right away. And then I'm responding to somebody. So for us to be able to talk to each other and also think about your uplines and your downlines. You're thinking about masterminds and things we're going to get into a little bit. You're going to have access to all the top agents in the company. And when you have collaboration and a culture that we have, having access to those people is pretty awesome. I always say to people, think about it when you're a brand new agent, you're afraid to bother people. You don't know who to go to. Or what if you're the number one agent in your office? Who's your peer group? So we're going to address that a little bit too as we get into lead gen and some training and some other things. So you've got all of the people in the world. You have SkySlope, you have marketing, you have Workplace, you have our brokerage ops team. So our operations team are available to you. We also have a mentor program. So if you're an agent who has done less than 3 transactions over the past 6 months, you'll be assigned a mentor. So you're going to have somebody to lean on right away, which is critical to your success. We understand how hard real estate can be. So having somebody assigned to you to help you through your first 3 transactions is going to be a big deal for you. So when it comes to support, we have plenty of that. That's not even an option. Let's talk about lead generation. Everybody talks about leads, right? You got, well, actually, let's back up. Let's go to training first, because support and training kind of go together, kind of like peanut butter and jelly, right? Sick and tired, support and training. So what's training? Training is incredible. We have over 80 plus live trainings every single week. And these trainings are being taught by icon agents. These are high producing agents. We're going to get into the definition of an icon agent as we get a little bit further in the presentation. But these are people who are actually out there right now, boots on the ground. They're in the world. They're in the real estate environment right now. So these are people real world, real time, going through the same things you're going through. But they're telling you how to get out of it, or they're telling you how to get better. So we have everything from A to Z. Whether you're a brand new agent or, like I said before, you're a top producing agent and you need more training, you're trying to get from 100 million to 200 million. We have that for you. Whether if you're somebody like me who struggles with social media and technology, we have trainings on that. So everything you need is available to you to be successful. All the tools have been thought about. Let's talk about fast start. So if you're a brand new agent, as obviously, like I said, you're having a mentor, you have a mentor program, but we also have a 12-week fast start program. So every week you're going to be getting hours of training and make sure that you're on pace and to help guide you into a successful career. Masterminds. So listen, one of the best things that we have here at EXP is our collaboration. There is nothing like it. Think about this. We are not a franchise. And I will say that again. We are not a franchise. Why is that important to distinguish between not being a franchise and being a franchise? Because we all have the opportunities to be stockholders and shareholders in this company, which means we have ownership in this company. Now, think about the mindset. If you're a franchise, you have nothing to do with each other. What is that? What's the opportunity there for you? But for us here at EXP, when one person wins, we all win. If the company does really well as a whole, the stock goes up, we all win. So why is that important? That's why these masterminds exist. We have them from all different levels for all different groups. So you're going to be talking to people who are doing things at a very, very high level, and they share their playbook with you. Say, hey, listen, this is how I did it. Here's one thing I've learned about real estate. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Paths for success have already been made. All you have to do is get on the right path. Get on the one that's kind of complementary to what your mindset is and how you like to do things. With these masterminds, that's how you find it. There's ideas and strategies being exchanged every single day by people doing it at the highest level. It's awesome. So masterminds and the collaboration, another great way for training. And then we have what's called EXP University, which is our online training, and it's on-demand training. You can tap into that anytime you want. Thousands of recordings on any topic you can imagine, scripts, like I said, technology, social media, whatever it is you're looking to do, it's available to you. So We've talked a little bit about our culture. We've talked about training. We've talked about support. So let's get into lead gen. All right, everybody's like, well, what's a lead gen over there? So we do have an $85 a month fee. It's the only fee that you're going to have here. And included in that is our entire platform. One of the things on there is KV Core, which is our main platform that we use. If you're an individual agent working at an independent company and you're going to buy it on your own, you would be paying $400, $500, $600 a month for KV Core. It's included in the $85 a month here. Also, the Sky Slope's included, all the training is included. Our whole platform's included for $85. So let's talk about KV Core. KV Core, the front end of that is going to be your agent website, which obviously is going to be a way to attract leads. The back end of that's your CRM system. So KV Core, once you get to master it, you really learn it. It's awesome between the squeeze pages, the drip campaigns, everything that it has to offer. It's a major, major lead generating machine if you use it. So we have that. We have Making It Rain, which is a digital marketing system that helps you also create leads. You've got huge referral network. Think about this. With all these masterminds and all the access you have to all these other agents across the world, because remember, we're 88,000 plus strong as a company. We're in the US plus we're in 24 other countries. So think about what that looks like for your marketing, for your referral business. Most of the time in the traditional company, you go to a referral, you're going to some third-party referral company. You don't know who they're getting. You're sending somebody across the country. You don't know who the other agent is. You're not really in touch with them. You're not really part of the transaction. I've never been comfortable with that. If I'm sending a past client, a family member, I've always wanted to have like a little bit of hands-on because I'm going to make sure they're taken care of. It's beautiful here because all I have to do is call somebody wherever I'm sending them that I already have a relationship with and say, hey, John, I'm sending my cousin over, moving to California. I'm on the East Coast, as you can tell the way I speak. But I'm sending my cousin across country. Can you take care of it and handle it for him, and et cetera? So I've got a personal relationship with the referral, but the referral opportunities are huge. And then we have express offers. We have success coaching, which is tremendous for training and lead gen. Revenues platform, which gets into reloads, REOs, short sales, all that's available to you. Then there's the other part of it where we have these other divisions. So we have a great international and growing luxury division, which is really starting to blow up. They are gaining traction like you can't believe. So tapping into that luxury market is huge, especially the way real estate's going now with prices being inflated. Commercial division, international commercial division. We're not just one size fits all. We're trying to get everything. Military division, which is also international. So there's so many different opportunities and different lanes that you could get in to create business for yourself and to lead generate. It's awesome. So that's available to everybody. So let's get into our compensation package. A lot of people say, well, tell me about what your commission structure is. I don't like to call it commission structure. That's just one piece. In a traditional real estate company, that's the only revenue stream that you have. It's just your commission. Therefore, yes, what's your commission structure? Here, compensation package, because we have multiple revenue streams, which is, I don't know about you, but for me to have for somebody who's been in for so long, to finally have a platform where there's a true exit strategy, a true way for me to leave something for my kids, a true way to not be solely dependent just on transactions. Being a transactional agent can take tiring. You're kind of in that hamster wheel. You're going from deal to deal to deal to deal. It can wear you out. I know. Listen, I lived there, been there, done that. So I understand what that feels like. But as we talk about the commission portion of our compensation package, let's get into that. So everybody comes in on an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. So once that 20% represents the company dollar, once that reaches $16,000, you then move to 100%. While you're still on the 80-20, there's a $65 fee per transaction. $40 of the 65, I'm sorry. 40 of the $65 is your E&O insurance, and that caps at $500. So that'll eventually go away. The remaining $25 is our compliance review. So our broker's looking at everything, our compliance department is looking to make sure we have everything we need, we have the proper forms, and everything is good so we don't have any problems down the road. So 80-20, $16,000 cap, $65 fee. Once you cap, you move to 100% for the rest of your anniversary year. When you go to 100%, you will be paying a $250 transaction fee. That will also cap. That will cap at $5,000. That's an additional 20 transactions. So that's kind of how the commission works here. Very simple, very straightforward. Everybody's on the same one, which is great. There's no back office deals like you get into some franchises or you get into some traditional brokers and everybody's on a different compensation plan. And then people get upset because why am I not getting that? And how come they're getting more than me? So we don't worry about that here. Everybody's on the same. So that is how the commission structure works. Now, let's get into the multiple revenue streams portion of that, because now we know that this aggressive commission structure is one piece. Let's talk about some other pieces of that. All right, this is the really good stuff. So you also have stock awards, company stock awards. So in other words, the company is going to give you stock for doing what you do on an everyday basis anyway. For example, every year when you do your first transaction, you're going to get a $200 stock award from the company. So it'll go right into your stock portfolio. They give it to you. You're not paying for it. Comes out of the company dollar, boom, it's going to you. When you cap every year, you get an additional $400 worth of company stock given to you. Thank you for being so productive. Bam, it's a production award. So now you've earned $600 worth of stock that the company gave you. That's incredible. If you were to bring other people into the company, when they do their first transaction, you get another $400 worth of stock. So there's stock awards that's awesome. I know a lot of us that get into real estate say we don't really care about stocks. We don't know much about it, and I know properties, and I understand that, and that's cool. But what's that going to look like in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? What happens if you're the sole provider in your house, and all of a sudden you get sick, God forbid, or something happens where you can't work for a long period of time? You're going to be pretty happy that you had those stocks sitting there that are growing for you. That's really kind of our 401k plan. It's kind of a retirement plan for us. It's an exit strategy for us. So having those company awarded stocks is huge. How else do I get a company award stock? Well, remember we talked about when you get to 100% commission, then you're paying that $250 per transaction. And I told you that caps at $5,000. When that happens, you then have reached what we call icon status. You're an icon agent here at eXp. What's the benefit of that? Well, I'm glad you asked. When you become an icon at eXp, and this can happen every year, you then have the opportunity to earn the $16,000 cap that you paid. You can get back in the form of company stock. $8,000 comes back to you right away. You get it right away. You became an icon, boom, $8,000 of stock right back to you. The other $8,000, there's a cultural aspect to it and an attendance piece to it. So basically, the other $4,000, we want you to attend two things every year. One is our eXp Con, which is our convention every year, which is unbelievable, off the charts. eXp Con is a mind-blowing experience. It's all agents on stage talking about their playbooks and how they do things. It's not leadership up there talking about nonsense. It's actual real-world stuff that you can leave with action items. But we want you to attend eXp Con every year and one other event. So we have these regional rallies. You talk about training, you talk about support. We have regional rallies across the country, everywhere. And this is happening on a yearly basis. So by just attending those, and then I talked about the 80+ live trainings, those are taught by our icon agents. So if you're willing to give back, you get the other $4,000 back in stock. So what are we talking about if you're an icon agent? You're talking about $16,600 worth of stock that the company just gave to you for doing what you're doing anyway. Now, what does that look like? I mean, in 10 years, that's $166,000 worth of stock that you didn't have to pay for. It's given to you. That's incredible. What's that going to look like as it starts getting compound interest? So that opportunity is huge. There's also another opportunity, which is called the Agent Equity Program. So every commission that you earn, you can take 5% of that commission, purchase company stock at a 10% discount. So you've already made money on it the day that you purchased it, and you owned it that day. So there's another way to earn company stock. So again, if you're in a franchise situation, a franchise model, and you're used to paying that 5%, think about that. That 5% franchise fee that you're paying right now, you're paying to the franchise owner. You get nothing for that. Here, you're paying yourself. So I always ask people, think about this. As we talk about those revenue streams that we talked about commission, company awarded stocks, icon awards, agent equity. There's 4 different ways. We'll get to the 5th way in a second. But think about what I'm saying. I ask everybody this question all the time. Exactly how many houses do you have to, where you currently are, your current brokerage, how many houses do you have to sell to get ownership in that company? And then I ask this other one, exactly how many houses do you have to sell to get the company dollar back that you paid into that company? How many? So I just answered that question for you. For us, most models, it doesn't exist. So such a huge benefit for our agents. And it goes back to the beginning, but I talked about when Glenn was trying to create this company that's so agent centric. There you go. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is revenue share. What is revenue share? So remember in the beginning, we were talking about being virtual, and I said to you, where does that company dollar go? We're making the money. Where does it go? I said, we'll get back to that. Here we are. 50% of every dollar that comes into EXP goes back to the agents in the form of revenue share. 50%. It's part of our P&L. So when that company dollar comes in at 20%, 10% of that 20%, which is 50%, goes back to the agents in the form of revenue share. Goes back to the agent's pocket. Think about what I'm telling you. What does this mean and why? So all of us have been recruited at some point or another. The current agencies that you're in, somebody brought you there. So everybody looks at it like, oh, you guys are calling everybody. Not really. It's just the same thing. I believe in this company. It's the greatest company I've ever seen. It's the greatest company I've ever been a part of. And I'm so happy about it. And I get calls about it by my peers all the time. And I'm like, listen, this thing's a game changer. It's a life-changing model. And now they're coming over. So because I helped the company grow, I get to share in the profits of that. That's all it is. Is it required? Absolutely not. But why not reward yourself if you're so happy where you are and you're telling your friends and family and other real estate agents in your area or across the country or across the world for that matter, how great of an experience you're having? Why wouldn't you want to share that with everybody? And if you do share that with them, why shouldn't you get paid for that? That's all revenue share is in a nutshell. It's very simple. It goes 7 levels deep. So this is a life-changing thing, which that the revenue share brings that is crazy. Now we also have healthcare programs. We have all this different stuff for agents. So when he thought about it, he really got it right. And as I start to wrap up in summary here, I always ask people, I know you've built a great business, but are you building a legacy? What mark are you leaving? To think that I can create this revenue share and these stocks and I can will it down to my family, to my kids, that's a big deal. And it's something that's super important to me. Again, you can see behind me, I got 4 daughters that I didn't just work my butt off for 30 years and then have nothing for them to show for it at the end. We're all independent contractors and, what's the exit strategy? So to have an exit strategy, a true one that's been defined, to work with the greatest minds in the market today, some of the most successful people in the market today, to have access to these people, to help elevate, to mastermind and brainstorm with some of the most brilliant minds in real estate in our market today. It's unbelievable. So I always tell people, having access to these people, having the opportunities to have multiple income streams, to be able to grow as a human being, as a business owner, to have all these opportunities in front of me is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. These opportunities are not available everywhere, but they are available right here at EXP. So I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. I think it's the greatest company out there by far. We are number 1 in the industry in units. We are a production-based, production-focused company with some of the best agents in the world working for us. So couldn't be more proud to be here. Again, if you have any questions, you can certainly send me an email at frank.panunto@exprealty.net, and I will absolutely get back to you with answers or anything that you may have. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Friday. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great weekend.